Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, minister and hypnotist, and welcome to PowerTalk, my video blog where I cover topics that interest me, but always focusing on how you can use the power of your mind to take control of your life. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my Substack newsletter Powerlines, check out my website, which I'll tag in the description. If there's something in your life that you feel is out of control, using hypnosis can turn that around. Well, today I want to talk about what is commonly called the law of attraction. The law of attraction was made popular by the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. The Secret has been translated into 50 languages. It sold more than 35 million copies. It was made into a movie in 2006, and the two combined, the book and movie, have grossed well over $300 million. And there have been some sequels too. Byrne's first book was titled The Secret, as I said, and the idea is that like attracts like. So whatever you focus on will happen because you're putting that energy out in the universe, and the universe will respond by sending you that sort of thing. So if you want to be wealthy and focus on being wealthy, you will tend to get wealthier. Her other books have similar titles. The Power, which is love, defined as focusing on what you like and enjoy. Then there's The Magic, which is about how being grateful attracts more things to be grateful for. There's The Hero, which is about grit, the ability to pursue a long-term goal in the absence of external reinforcement. And finally, her most recent book called The Greatest Secret, which is about mindful awareness. In The Greatest Secret book, Byrne reveals her membership in one of the Rosicrucian organizations, and that didn't surprise me. I actually kind of guessed that. But law of attraction-like ideas have been involved in esoteric groups for decades. Take a look at the book called The Kabbalion, which supposedly was written by a group of 3 initiates, but is widely believed to be the work of New Thought guru in the 1930s, William Walker Atkinson. Now, the roots of hypnotism in America go deep into our indigenous folk healing tradition, nurtured by people like Phineas Parkhurst Quimbley, who was a hypnotist and also taught Mary Baker Eddy, the founder of Christian Science, most of what she knew. The law of attraction by Byrne fits into this historical theme, as does positive thinking by the Reverend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the power of a positive mental attitude by Clement Stone, the laws of success by Napoleon Hill, possibility thinking by the Reverend Dr. Robert Schuller, and right thinking by Reverend Joseph Murray, and so on. Now, as a hypnotist, I have immense respect for the power of the unconscious mind. Knowing how to work in harmony with your deeper self is, in fact, powerful. You will have a better life if you master that, and I believe that to the bottom of my heart. I basically like the law of attraction thinking, and that should be obvious from the depth of what I've already said about it here. I'm well read in the area. But there is a downside to all of this, and that insight tends to get lost. In its more extreme formulations, the law of attractions and those adjacent beliefs and practices can be read to claim that anyone can be successful if they just try hard enough. And this has been used to explain away inequalities and unfair practices You see, some problems are structural. They're created by those on top in an effort to keep those on the bottom down. It's possible to fight against that, and yes, mental attitude will help in that fight. I believe that. I believe I've done that. But that doesn't mean that the inequalities were ever justified. Sometimes the positive thinking law of attraction movement can become a cover for a kind of crony capitalism that is not and never has been fair. And that's the first part of the problem. The second part is that some people take up the theme of the law of attraction, but then take it way too far. Yes, we tend to get what we focus on. But that word tend is important because it implies that it doesn't always happen. The more extreme practitioners of law of attraction thinking, in my experience, go a step or two further to say that it always happens. And if it didn't work out, well, the fault is in you. You were secretly attracting something else by flawed thinking or belief. They'll talk about placing an order or sending an instruction into the universal mind. And once you've done that, no action is required on your part. Things are supposed to just show up. And that, I think, is simply false. And to see an example of this, you don't have to look any further than Rhonda Byrne herself. This woman, who is the author of The Secret, listed her Santa Barbara mansion for sale for some $23.5 million. A year later, she had to reduce it to 18.8, then again to 14.9. Finally, after the building languished for 5 years, she sold it for $13.6 million, $5 million less than she paid for it. $10 million less than what she wanted. Well, reality, as one writer put it, in this case the market, doesn't always care what you think. So the law of attraction may be a useful mental hack. It is just that. It's not black magic. If someone is struggling, it doesn't mean it's their fault. It doesn't mean they're causing their struggles by their bad thinking. But I will say that if someone is in trouble, learning to have a positive expectation about the future can help get you out of it. But you have to do work. Most of you know I am an advocate for the Stoic philosophy, a system taught from ancient Greece by philosophers at that time and then picked up in Rome and elsewhere. And the ancient Stoic philosophers did think that thoughts were very powerful. Our worldview influences the opportunities we perceive. If your worldview is negative, you see fewer opportunities than if your worldview was more hopeful. Telling yourself that something is possible or impossible can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, once the emperor of Rome, said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." That said, the missing component in much of law of attraction adjacent thinking are the claims I read and hear that action isn't necessary. You place your order, and then with your expectant thinking, that's all you need to do. Well, I don't think so. You can't just remain passive. Once your mind lands on a positive possibility for your life, the next thing you have to do is to reflect on how you will move toward it. You can't just wait for the universe to fulfill your needs while you sit there passive after having put in your order. At least that's how it seems to me. You need to take action. So the law of attraction is a useful mental hack. I absolutely think that. If you're in a bad place, it can help you. I believe that too. But it is not magic. And we have to be careful about basing our social theory on it, because that could lead you to blame people as if structural problems were their personal fault, and often it is not. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week for another talk on a different subject, and I'd like to invite you to join me. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, it helps me a lot if you tell others about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You are welcome to subscribe to my Substack using the buttons you find on this post or on my website. And if you're wondering if I can be of help to you, consider working directly with me. Feel free to reach out through my website for a complimentary, no obligation discovery call, and we'll talk about it. Have a great week.